Hello and welcome to this blissful awareness discussion. Here we discuss about the spiritual matters and whatever issues are there or some questions or clarifications are there related to spiritual things and personal experiences. So those we discuss here. So some questions have come, but in between, if anybody has something to add or express their views, all are most welcome because this is not for one way communication. This is to interact with the seekers, like minded seekers who are traveling on the path, walking on the path together. And this is just an occasion to come back, to abide in the self. And it helps actually to all the people to be connected, to share what they are thinking, what they are experiencing, and also to understand a different point of view which can help you to understand things much better. So we'll start with few questions. Some of them are one is from Sanjeev. Why everything in the universe is continuously spinning? I i don't think spinning is the only movement which is there in the existence. There are several other things, like there is haphazard movement, there is straight line movement, and there are so many other sorts of movements. So I think you are trying to ask why everything is in movement in this universe. That is more appropriate. So if we see why there is movement, then we have to understand what is movement. Movement is, again, you can't know movement unless there is a change. So we have to go to the next step, that what is change then. Now here we will be in, I mean, we have to go further deep, that how can you define change? So there won't be any answer. So the most fundamental change is from one position to the other position. That is the most fundamental change, which we call as vibration. And those vibrations, when they start accumulating with each other, they start forming more robust structures which were required for maintenance of that structure. So that is the most fundamental change, and that change is movement. Now, how do we define the movement? Movement is a comparison also in the memory. There are two ways to define the movement. One is that it is a one frame is there and another frame is there, and there is a change in the two frames. So that is called movement. So that is one way of understanding it, that it is coming from memory. That in the memory, there is one frame and there is another frame, and there is something connecting these two frames. That is called movement. Or we can say that vibrations are changing, therefore, the movement is being produced. Now, the point you are asking is that why everything in the universe is continuously in movement. So, if it is not in movement, it cannot be experienced. So, that is the catch. Whatever you can experience has to be in the movement, has to be a change. Otherwise, you can't notice that experience. You can't have that experience as such. So, since it is changing, therefore, it is being experienced, and therefore, you are asking that why this movement is there. So, the fundamentally, it will boil down to why the change is there. Now, there won't be any answer that why there is change, or to put it more simply, why there are experiences. There is no reason for it. So, if you, I mean, trickle down to the most basic, most fundamental of the question from where it is arising, we find that there won't be any satisfactory answer to the intellect. But that doesn't mean that nothing can be understood by intellect. But nothing substantial can be understood by intellect. There is a limit to which intellect can go. So that is very important to understand. What we do is, these questions are sometimes very superficial. We don't delve deep into what is that which I will understand if I get an answer to this question. There are several ways. There are some times when people want to ask question because they want to show that they know. There are other times when people want to ask question that they have very superficial knowledge. They are not interested in the answer also. They are just listening to what they already know, what they have in mind, whatever permutation, combination, and concepts which they have already framed in their mind. They will grasp only that. And if you see it from a subtle level, you can only understand that which you already know. So the most subtle thing which you know without any sense is your own self. We don't want to go there to deep that depth of understanding of who I am. That is the most fundamental question of what I am, who I am. Because if I is not there, how can any question arise? How can any experience arise for that matter? And if there is no experience, there is no communication, there is no words, there is no, intellect itself is an experience, right? So, so coming back to the question is that why everything in the universe is continuously in movement? There is no answer, but there is no satisfactory answer to give with this. To explain why there is change, basically. And if we say that yes, this is how it is and what it is, whether you accept it, whether you know it, whether you want to accept it or you don't want to accept it, that is what it is, because that is the most fundamental thing, that there is an experience and there is an experiencer. And if you want to go further, what is their relation, why they are existing, why experiencer is there, why experience is there, why not there is something else besides experience and experiencer. So there won't be anything. I don't have any answer to these questions. Maybe somebody who have joined in can throw some light that whether they have till now received answer to these type of questions, because these questions are actually irrelevant. What we will do if we know why there is a change? What is more important is that who is noticing this change? Is it not me as an experiencer who is noticing this change? This change means experience. Now, if you go further down, like we have started from movement to change to finally we will come to experience. So, what is being experienced? That is, you can always ask what is being experienced, then you can go deep into it and try to find that what is it that is being experienced, and then you will come to a conclusion that that which is being experienced cannot be known, because the essence of that which is being experienced can never be known by the intellect, because intellect itself is an experience. How can intellect go to the source from where it is arising? Because to reach to the place where the source of that is is the effort which we are making in vain, actually. In It is actually useless to even try to grasp what is experiencer, because if you have understood what is experiencer, then it is not experiencer, it is an experience. Same way, it is very, I mean, you may try, but at least I have not found an answer to what is an experience. And ultimately, if you go further deep, there is no experience which is separate from experiencer, and there is no experiencer which is separate from the experience, because they are very subtle. You go one step up, one step up, one step up, you will find that it is so subtle, that experiencer, there are three few steps on which we have to proceed. One is that you see what is gross, then you see where the gross is being experienced, then you will find that the gross cannot be experienced in its gross form. So what is being experienced is more subtle. So you leave out gross. No, this is not the essence of what is being experienced. It is more subtle. Then you come to the sensation. Then you even drop out sensation. You come to further subtlety of the sensation, that where from the sensations are arising. Then you come that it is mind. What is mind then? Mind is what? Collection of thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, memory. We put together, we call it mind, but the correct word is memory. So what is being experienced is only the memory. Now you will again go further subtle, that how memory can be experienced. What is it in memory which is being experienced? Or whether the experiencer which is experiencing the memory, is it of the same level, or is it changing with the memory? Then the answer comes no. I am the experience and I am not changing with the memory, because if I change with the change, I will never notice the change. So I, being the experiencer, I can only experience that which is at the subtle level of what I am. So I am not even the memory. So now the effort ends. And at this end you will find that the experiencer is more subtle than the most subtlest you can ever know, be it the memory, which is the last layer which we have come to understand. And in the memory, there are different layers again, like intellect. Now, when the intellect starts refining, when the mind starts settling down, when you are not running after desires, at that state of mind, that state of uh, beingness, the presence, the answers will start coming in. That I am subtler than the subtlest, then it is beyond any qualities, we can say that. And once we understand this concept that it is beyond any qualities, nothing more is required to be said. But still, to go further, we can say that it is beyond any uh, concepts also. You can't understand it, or you can't bind it into the concept, because if you have bounded it into the concept, it will become limited. And whatever is limited is not you. I mean, you can understand, you can conceptually understand it, and then you can go deep into it. So it's not theory. What is theory is to understand what is the most fundamental. But what is most fundamental is not a theory. Theory is again an experience. It is again a concept of trying to grasp something which is ungraspable, which is beyond any words, which is see who is giving meanings to the words. So you can catch it from several ways. I mean, this is not the only way of explaining it, because the moment you start speaking, it becomes irrelevant that what you are speaking, because those words, each word has been assigned some meaning by each individual, and two different words are put together to frame a sentence, and that sentence is again framed to frame a paragraph, and those paragraphs are collectively given a meaning. But the most fundamental point is who is assigning the meaning to the word. Is that which is assigning the meaning to the word any different from the word itself? Is the word is existing in somewhere material, or is it subtle? And even if it is subtle, where that subtleness is coming from? What is the source which is assigning the meaning to the word? A car may be called a car in English. It can be called same object can be called in, I don't know, maybe there are 10,000 languages in the whole universe, word at least, what we know about. So this car will have a different word in each language. That doesn't make car something, a different entity in each language. It is the same thing, same object, which is being referred as different words in different languages. So just try to imagine if there are no words, what are you? Just delve upon it, just dive deep into it, that what is my existence without word? We never go deep into that. Anyway, I think we have digressed from the question. So I hope the question answer is somewhat clear to Sanjeev. I think Madhuri has written something. What we come to know on spiritual path, it begins with the contradictions with what we have learned or thought. And the second reason is everything we supposed to be owned, that all are denied at once. So for the beginner, such question comes in mind. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is no beginning and there is no end. So there is no beginner and there is no advanced seeker. There is no advancement in the spiritual path. What we call as advancement is just elimination of whatever we have held close as truth. Because truth is that which is not changing, which we have come to know after coming to path of knowledge, that the most fundamental definition or the criteria to know The truth is that which is not changing is truth, which is not changing with time, with space, or with situation. That is truth. So if that be the truth, what is it that is not changing? There won't be any answer to it. So if you say that yes, when we begin the journey in the spiritual domain, so these are limitation of the word that you begin and then you advance and then there is some end. But when you go deep, where is the beginning? Where is the end? And where is the advancement or advancing to some state? Because you what you come to know that I am not anything which is changing. Because if I am that and which is changing, then obviously I will never notice that change. So if that be the case that I am not the change, then what am I? Then the answer will be that I am that which is knowing the change, that I am that which is knowing the experience. Then your intellect get some satisfactory answer. Yes, yes, this is right. But you don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. You have to see it. See, spirituality is nothing to do with what is being written in a book, what is said by a guru. It is just seeing, simply seeing that what is there right now in front of me. That is called direct experience. And then collaborating or corroborating it with your intellect or logic. If both combined together is giving you some satisfactory result, you can accept it to be a proof. So that proof is very fundamental to understand, to go deep into any subject in spiritual matter. Madhuri has again written, it is just unmasking of ignorance. The essence will be illumined. Yes, the essence is the illuminator, you can say that. And what is being illumined is also the essence. So there is nothing which connects between that which is being illumined, and what is illuminating the what is being illumined. So there is no process in between. There is no activity which is going on in the two. Therefore, we have to end up saying that this is non-dual, because going to that subtle level where the experiencer is, at that level only the experiences are happening. So at that level, it cannot be said that they are two, and therefore it is very beautifully understood in a dream, in a example of a dream, that whatever is there, be it the experiencer of the dream, be it the experiences that are happening in the dream, be it the object, emotions, everything is one. And what is that one? That is you, because you are the one who has created the whole dream world, and you have yourself become a dream character, and you have created other dream characters within the dream world, and you are interacting, and those emotions are as real as that you may get in the physical world in a waking state. So and all experiences are happening at that subtle level, right? Even if when we experience a physical world, it is not that we are experiencing the physical world which is going inside the mind and that is being experienced. It's not like that. Like if you're seeing a tree is not going into your mind and you are experiencing the tree. How you are experiencing a tree? It is just light reflected from the tree, which enters into the retina, which gets converted into an electric signal, which is passed through the neurons. Again, it is converted from electric signal to a form. And we combine through logic a form and a touch and a smell and a taste and try to come to a certain conclusion. So that is what intellect is trying to do. So if we deeply go through it, what is being experienced is not any gross object, but a subtle movement. And that subtle movement is not different from that which is experiencing that movement. Shyam has written, but it will go through phases. Yeah, but I'm not saying that it will not go through phases. The spiritual progress will definitely go through phases. But is that the end of it? My point was that when you say there is a beginning and there is an end, there has to be two things. One, that there is a change and there is a time. And whenever we say time is there, already we are in the in a level of illusion, because mind cannot exist without time, and time is a creation of mind. Just try to, I mean, see what is the existence of mind without time and words for a human being. I'm saying it will just lose any significance. Like if there is no time and there is no change, mind will be just, I mean, it won't be able to grasp anything or understand anything. So it has created a concept of time. Like time is changing in a waking state, in a dream state, in a projected state, and in a sleep, deep sleep state. So what is time then? And time is again a movement, a change from one state to other state. And noticing that change is the time. Or it is a formation in the memory of one memory and the second memory. And the comparison of the two memory is time. So what is time? Even if we say that time is measured in hours or seconds, minutes and seconds. So what is hours? They are minutes. What is minutes? They are seconds. Now go deep into what is second. No, no, it is microsecond, not microsecond. It is milli, micro, I don't know, whatever you say. It can go to any divisions as such, and there is no end to it. And you can increase it to other multiples of higher side. Again, there is no end to it. So what is the time? So time is just illusion, which is again projected on another illusion. So it is double illusion. Therefore, we need to understand it from a very fundamental thing, that whether what is time, if time exists, what is time, and if time is an illusion, what is mind, and if mind is an illusion, how can time exist? So just delve upon these thoughts. Maybe it will give you some more clarity. But yes, phases are there. What are the phases? Phases are that you have hold on to certain opinion, certain views, certain biases, certain things which you assume to be true, which were without any foundation. That is what is called belief. That which you believe to be true, but it doesn't actually may be true. That is called a belief. But you don't question it. You think it is true. That is called a belief. So all beliefs are shattered. Now each individual has different sets of belief depending on what he has accumulated over the previous lifetimes in the memory, or what he has gained in the current lifetime experiences. Those beliefs will be formed. But the most fundamental of those beliefs is that they are mostly based on illogical things. So those beliefs are shattered. Now, for each individual has different sets of beliefs, so different sets of shattering will happen. And that shattering, you can say it is in phases. You can say it is in advancement. But reality is what? Those are just beliefs which were just thrown away, which did not have any foundation, which did not have anything to stand on. So what does a guru do? He just shows you your own experience. See, this is what is happening. You see it yourself. If you are finding that what I am saying is true, then accept it, otherwise reject it. So that is the way you see your own experience. So guru is never preaches you that, see, this is what truth is. He will just show you your own experience. And unless that is done, everything else will be dogma. It will be a belief, it will be a religion, but it will not be the spirituality. So spirituality means what? It just means going to your innermost being of your own existence, from where the experiences are originating. And you will find that that origination point of all experiences is qualityless, it is attributeless, it is beyond any concept, it is beyond any imagination, it is beyond any words. It is that which is assigning meaning to the words. So how can it be grasped in the words? If there are no words, you are still there, right? If there is no time, you are still there. I mean, though imagination of a time, you are still there. Like time runs when you are very happy, and it stops when you are very sad. Why it happens? How can it happen? If time is same, it should be running at the same speed. You forget the time when you are busy in activities which are very interesting to you. The time just flows. Like if a very interesting movie is there, you don't realize 1 hour has passed. And similarly, if you are in a very painful situation, 1 hour is like 5 years. 1 hour is like 5 hours. So time is stretchable or contractible. So what does it mean? It means that we have to question the sanctity of time, that where from the concept of time has come. Who is given the meaning of time to whatever time has been defined? I'm not saying it is not useful. It is absolutely useful for surviving in the world. Otherwise, there is no meaning to any conversation. Like if we have a meeting at 7 a.m., if there is no time, how can we come to a common point to even connect to each other? So each sentence we speak has has somehow related to the time. But but still, times is just a mechanism which is created for having transactions more smoothly in a relative word. I mean, I can put it only in this way. Maybe others can elaborate if they wish to. Shyam Madhuri has written, it depends upon the degree of ignorance and the willpower of the seeker. I don't think there is any willpower. The willpower itself is a delusion. Because what is willpower? I think we have a question. We will talk about it in more detail. Shyam has said how many years it took us to come out from our illusion is insane. No, no, no. Whatever ignorance may be there, you come out in one instant. I mean, maybe you will be sleeping for 10 hours, but when you wake up in an instant. Similarly, the ignorance is shattered like there is darkness for million of years, but the light is there. The darkness just goes away in an instant. So everything is there happening in an instant. And at the level of experiencer, that there is timelessness, there is causelessness. So all questions will be just evaporate in thin air when we talk about, because if what is there with you is only this moment, right? The past is happening as a memory in this moment. The future is happening because of the past memories and desires. Something is projected in as that will happen, it will have this impact. So all that imagination about the future is happening in this moment. So you don't have anything but this moment. But and what is this moment? It is undefinable. What is the essence of this moment? Everything is existing at simultaneously in this moment, and everything is ephemeral in this particular moment. So you lose the normal meaning of the word when you deep dive into these things. But you will say then w- this whole word is, I mean, you can't function with these concepts in this word, but nobody is asking you to function with these concepts in this word. When you are in this word, be totally there, but there will be moments, there will be times when you are not so much required to give your attention to this word. Then what you do? Then what you will do? That will be the idle time, and that will be the idle idle man brain is devil's workshop. So what you will do? You will start grabbing something, either something from the memory or something projected to the future, or you will start engaging into some other activity, useless activity. You start calling somebody, or you start chatting, or you listening, or whatever. But are we really interested in what is peace? Are we really interested to know what is love? Are we really interested to know what is my essence? What is awareness? What is it that is knowing whatever is happening? We say that we want peace, but if peace is there, we will be the first person to run away from it, because we are so engrossed in the activities that we are unable to see what is there below the activity, what is there as base to the activity, on the surface of which all the activities are happening. Because if that reference is not there, all activities will be stopped. It is impossible. It is just a poetic way to say it. Anyway, if anybody else has something to add or delete or disagreement, You are most welcome.
Mm. Hi, Ashwinji. Namaste,
Yeah, yeah,
everybody.
please go ahead. Yeah.
Um, for me, from the beginning of my journey, I'm just not following any guru as such from the beginning. It's my own journey. But I read through books and whatever the knowledge I gained, whatever the spiritual path I travel, it's it's I'm not just following anybody's techniques or such a thing. It's own my path. I created myself. Whatever the journey I've gone through, it's entirely it's my own path. While going through, I realized something especially in the non-dual circle. The language is entirely confusing for me. The if I speak non-dual language, nobody understands in the realistic world. It feels alienated to them. But in the way non-dual language itself is confusing. If we say about anything, they just go to the consciousness language. Once they are speaking about something else, they'll come to the duality language. There I will feel confusing. Um, uh, that is a. I'm still struggling with this one. We can't really speak from the non-dual perspective because everything is full. It's completely full and it's completely empty at the same time. Whatever you speak, it doesn't signify anything in the dualistic language because consciousness contains it in itself. It's a full. Whatever we speak, it's just confusing in the dualistic language. Um, if I go through that one, I'm a little bit of always I'll find something strange here. Whether I will come, sort it out in my life, or I really don't know. Can there be a way for me to understand this one? Because I do understand dualistic language, what is essential for life and not essential for life. And yeah, in that sense, I'll feel like for ordinary, it's still if I use ordinary people, suddenly in non-duality, will say everybody is ordinary. There I have a problem. How to differentiate this one? If you are partitioning people, there is a difference between men and women, and in non-duality, there is no difference at all. But how to differentiate them? Uh, can you, Ashwinji, can you shed some light on this one?
I I understood your question. So what you are saying is that the language is a problem in non-duality, and the non-duality language cannot be applied to the duality. And
Yes.
sometimes questions are answered that this is what is required to be done, which is absolutely in duality. And then we straight away jump to another level and say that no, no, is at the level of
Yeah.
non-duality, nothing is there. So the confusion arises when we mix different levels of from where it is being spoken. Let me, I mean, there are obviously, if you say that something which has happened in the dream and you will try to make a logical explanation of that in the waking state, there won't be any connect. So let me
Mm,
tell you, there are different levels of same thing. So the truth at the lower level is not true at the higher level. But truth at the higher level is always applicable and true at the lower level also. Like if you are living in a multi-storied building, the lower levels will not be able to see explicitly what is there in the upper stories, but the upper stories can perhaps have a better view of more macro level view. Now, if you see what is non-duality, the most and the only truth is non-duality. But seekers or any beginner on spiritual journey will never be able to appreciate or understand what is non-duality. So what we do is we make some concession that okay, if you don't understand that it is all one existence and there is only experiencing, then it is broken down into two to make him understand and come to the level of experiencing. So what is the division? The division is experience and the experiencer. There is an experience which is changing and there is an experiencer which is non-changing. It makes logic, it is understood, but some people are still not able to understand this level. So then it
um,
comes down to level of illusion. You see, there is
yes.
whatever is changing is illusion, and then it boils down further to causal body. Then it boils down to the projected state. Then it comes down to the mind intellect and things like that, and ego and all those things. Then it boils comes down to the body level. Then it comes down to the word level. Now, if we say that this is true at the level of mind and intellect in third stage, and we apply that principle into the duality of experience and experiencer, only two things, then it won't work. And if we apply that to non duality, it is absolutely meaningless. So, you are right that non duality cannot be or does not have any use, practical use for survival in this whole world. And the word, I mean, what your mind gives importance is to two things: one, that survival and enjoyment. So these two things are most important for a normal human being who is functioning in this whole world. That he will give only importance to that which is very important for the survival. And once the survival needs are met, he will move on to enjoyment or desires fulfillment and things like that. But the truth doesn't change at all in moving from different levels to different levels. So my question to you would be, Sham, that whether have you done this 3 day program? Because any knowledge can be attained only if first the words are defined and that same meaning is understood by both the person who is speaking and the person who is listening. Second, there is a systematic way of approaching the problem, like we do solve any problem in engineering or science or whatever. And then if we move systematically, then we will be able to see it in a more. I don't say that you have to accept anybody as guru. I mean, you seems to have a block that I'm walking on my own in my own manner. I read, but you nobody can understand anything from whatever is being written in the scriptures or whatever is being spoken by a guru. Why? Because whatever is written in the scripture is the experience of that person who has written that scripture. Can I go into Patanjali's mind and understand what does it mean by chitta vritti nirodha? I mean, he may not have explained the whole words altogether, and whatever the words keep on changing in a period of time. Maybe 10,000 years back, chitta means
Yeah.
something else, Atman means something else.
But Ashwinji, when you touch the dimension of a truth and you are reading his book, definitely there is no confusion for you because the language itself is you already know that language what they're speaking by default. You know every word what they say. Once you touch the dimension of truth, in that sense, that makes sense. But without probably I read more than 25 versions of Patanjali Yoga Sutras to understand what he's saying. I just rejected these books are not his words. I just rejected continuously, even commentary of Vyasa, because it doesn't make sense to me. Continuously, I'm try to analyze this one. This is not a words of Vyasa because it doesn't make sense. Due to scholars,
Ram,
there are
just
many scholars who know Sanskrit.
1 second, Shyam. One
Just
second. Just answer my one question. Have you done this 3 day program?
yeah.
Hello?
About yeah, in this one, in yeah about I I don't know about this 3 day program in this one. Yeah.
Okay, so I will suggest because I will tell you my own experience because what you are going through, I have gone through last 25, 30 years. W- I was
Mm,
stuck up with books, I was stuck up with gurus, I was stuck up with practices, meditation, and whatnot. Once you are trying to understand something, you are in this satsang, right? So you want to know something, right? So if you have to go deep into it, it is better that you give only 35, 40 minutes each day for 3 days. And after those 3 days, if your questions are unanswered, we will take up in this meeting or anywhere else or separately one on one basis. Because all transmission happens only on one basis. It is never done in a group, in the sense that all people who are connected in the call will have a different view of what is being spoken about. So, unless not me, any teacher connects with a person who is listening, it has to be one on one basis. So those 30 minutes of your life will resolve a lot of problems about what is written in the scriptures. You may read 20 commentaries on a particular scriptures. Each will define it from their angle. Like if you read Bhagavad Gita, Somebody will give it a devotional shape. Somebody will give it a karma yoga, action oriented. Somebody will give it a knowledge oriented, or whatever. There will be, I don't know, Bhagavad Gita has thousands of commentaries. So each guru has given it his own color. I'm not saying that you have to believe any single word which is being spoken right now. What you have to believe is your own experience and logic. So if we do those 30, 40 minutes for, let us say, 3 days, you have to accept each and every sentence. Otherwise, we won't move ahead. If I don't, I mean, you don't accept, then I will accept your words or your views on that particular subject. Then we move on. And or if we have to,
Ashwin,
disagree, that I don't agree with you, you don't agree with me, then we stop it.
yeah,
But if you agree to what I am saying, and then we move ahead, or I agree to what you are saying, then we move ahead 1 inch. That way, those 3 days, first day we will talk about who are you or what are you. The second day is the knowledge about ignore this whole word, what is illusion. And third day is what is the connection between illusion and the one who is seeing. What is the connection between seer and the seen, and what is non-duality in the third day. So just 3 days, 40 minutes each. And I believe, I'm sure, because I have carried some people through this, that years and years will be saved.
Ashwin, to be frank,
Yeah, yeah,
I will
please.
share some experience what is happening with mine. Okay, I don't have a desire to seek anything. I lost all the desires. To be frank, I gone through this one. I had a non. Before that one, I used to get pressure
Who
into
lost the
seeking
desire?
something.
Do
Once
you
I
know who
realized,
lost the desire?
yeah,
Sham, just who lost the
yeah, I
desires?
do know. I know. Yeah, I do know that one. There is nobody to feel that desire to seek something.
Hmm?
That's one I came to conclusion. In this one, there is no seeking as such. I completely it's just uh, I think I travel this path. I'm feeling like there is no more seeking required for me. uh, I'm feeling like this internally,
Who
but
is feeling this,
still,
that there is
if
no
I try.
seeking? Answer by one my question. Who is having this feeling of that there is no seeking needed?
Yeah, Ashwinji, if you're asking this question, definitely that is a one-on question is very useful. Yeah, there is nobody is seeking and who is asking this question. My problem is only dualistic language. I speak dualistic language, but
But
I
can you
came from
avoid,
the
as soon
different.
as Sham, 1 minute, as soon as you speak a
Yeah,
word, their duality is created, right? So if you are
yeah,
silent, then obviously
yeah,
language is not needed, then the duality is not created. But as soon as you speak a single word, duality is created. So if you have a problem with duality language, there is no communication which is feasible. You should advance to that stage that you just sit with a advanced guru and you get all the knowledge without any words. That is in silence, transmission in silence. But if you have not understood that, then you have to take recluse in the dualistic language to reach up to non-duality.
definitely. I will be sitting with somebody. I don't know whom to be sitting, but I do definitely look after that.
No, there are. I will give you the link. You can contact anybody. I mean, I can take you through that, or Muni can take you through that, or there are other seekers who can take you through it, because that is useful. Otherwise, the communication is not happening. The transmission is not happening. It is only that. I mean, you know something, and you are listening only to that which you already know. You are not actually listening
Mm,
to what is being spoken of. And I don't know at what level, from what level you are speaking of.
yeah,
So it is better that we speak offline, or we take this discussion offline, because
yes,
maybe all other people are not very
yeah.
interested in
That's
this.
what I am saying. That's what
Yeah, I think we
this
will take this offline separately. And if you are interested, you can do this 3 day program, which I strongly recommend, because if you have spent so many years in reading different versions of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, please give me 40 minutes for 3 days. And then after
of
3 days,
course.
you go back to your normal self. I don't say that you don't go back to your normal self. You go back to whatever you have learned last few years or many years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, of course.
Thank you. I think let's move ahead because we will talk offline. Otherwise, we will keep on
Yeah,
continuing for hours like this.
yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
Thank you. So there are some more comments. Madhuri is saying, nowadays I am running away from routine work, although I know I will have to complete all those postponed assignments, but I am struggling a lot. Who is struggling, Madhuri? Are you the one who is doing anything? Are you running away from routine? Or who is, see, whatever is essential will definitely be done, whether you run after it or you run away from it. Whatever is essential will happen, will be done. So if just drop the feeling of doership, then you will be free. Rajiv is saying all expressions will essentially remain dual. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Non-duality is termed as truth, so that seeker can remain in negation of whatever experiences are there. However, this classification is only for a purpose of removal of ignorance, and the final step where this classification also goes away happens only with the grace of the Guru. I fully agree with you, Rajiv. Pragya is saying, soon you will again caught up in Maya routine. Right now, enjoy that silence and laziness. Good, very good. Rajiv is saying, is if there is continuous contemplation abiding in the teachings, then slowly but surely a seeker can recognize the transition between dual and non-dual expression in a conversation. It comes, no worries. Yes, this is what I also say. And Rajiv has further said, despite knowing very well that by this new disinterest in work will only result in not so desired worldly results, still there is a loss of desire too. But then I can see it was mind which was first desirous, and now it is same mind which is in disposition, and slowly I see that this mind is returning to the mundane task too, because those will be necessary for this survival of the body. This is a new struggle the mind is now engaged in, started to enjoying it also. Yes. So this is a swing which goes on in the relative world, and the one who is knowing all this, running after or running away from anything, is an also an illusion. See, you are such peace that whatever activities are happening around you will never be able to touch you. So if that peace is understood once only, not twice, just once, then the all questions will evaporate. Then all seeking will evaporate. That's what Shyam was also mentioning. Then all effort will go away. See, what is effort? Effort is coming out from a desire. And what is desire? Desire is coming out from my separateness, from my being something different from this whole world. And what is this coming from my being separate from something else is ignorance. And what is the source of ignorance? Now there is no answer. That what is the source of ignorance? Because the person who is ignorant will never know that ignorance is existing. So that's why a guru is required to throw some light. There is some ignorance, please say it. If you are not able to say it, then also fine. You will understand it with your own experience over a period of time. So there is a limitation of the words which we use, but at the same time, there is no other way out of living. So the effortlessness is the key, because in that effortlessness, there is no effort to even know something, right? Because knowledge or the knowing is your nature. Bliss or peace is your nature. Love is your nature. So these are the most important aspects of your existence. What are you doing in this
Ashwinji,
whole?
I have a question.
Ji.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Okay, I have a question. Um, I've even though I lost more than 60-70% of my fear, but once I'm been the stage to perform something or something commitment is there, I really feel a little bit of a fear inside of me. Is that a normal, or we get fearful about something, or we lose fear? This is a question I'm still struggling.
No, no.
Whether we lose completely fear of
See,
something.
let me answer you in two different levels. Let me give you my own experience. I remember maybe 13, 14 years back, I am in a job. So I was
mm,
told to speak or welcome the chairman who has come to the site, visited site, and I have to just welcome few lines, maybe 4 5 lines of saying welcoming him. I was dead scared. I mean,
mm,
I rehearsed and
mm,
rehearsed, and then somehow I could utter few words which does not make much sense because there was so much of restlessness. Then I
mm,
realized that there is something missing. Why this fear is there? And
mm,
now, I mean, I don't want to boast, but I have spoken at various platform conferences and where hundreds of people are listening. So
mm.
how this transition has happened, but that is all not connected to spirituality at all. That can be done
Oh,
by following certain things in the physical normal word of calming your mind. Now let me answer it
mm,
from the spiritual realm. See,
mm,
what is fear? If we break it down, the fear is the most fundamental fear, obviously, is the fear of death. But if you don't
mm,
go to that level, also, the fear is what? Whatever you have in your memory in this moment, you are projecting that memory into future. And that future is impacting your decisions or activities in the current moment. That is fear, which is not there, which is not existing, is impacting on whatever is happening right now, right here. So that is
mm,
fear. So from that aspect, I mean, even a very wise man will have fear. Even a ignorant people can have no fear. I mean, less fear, so to say. You can be fearful if you are entangled in your mind. You can be fearful if you are not entangled in your mind. But you can be fearful if a person comes and in the darkness you will be fear. You will have feel fear. If you go to an unknown place, you will be fearful. If a person comes
mm,
with a revolver, you will be fearful. Those are valid reasons for being fearful, that if somebody is coming to hurt you. But the invalid reasons of fearful is that if I do this activity, something else will happen to me and somebody will stop it. And I have done that in past, and those memories will keep you coming and coming back in stopping in what you are experiencing right now. And that will jam you. So fear is the most fundamental emotion which goes in the end, and that can only go if you get the if the ignorance is completely removed, then the fear is completely gone. Because fear is what? Abhinivesha. When we talk about Patanjali Yoga Sutras, means first I have
ah,
created avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, and then abhinivesha. So
yes,
starting is ignorance, then a separate entity, then desires, then aversion, and then comes the fear, right? So fear is a combination of all these four things. That is the ignorance, the desires, the ego, and the aversions. If you put them all together and mix them, it is fear. So that is the last emotion to move out from a being, from a even a very wise man. Even a wise man is have slight fear of death, but
ah.
don't worry about
Actually,
it.
while answering, you use the sense of we are comparing with the time. In me, I'll feel like I lost a sense of a time. I feel fearful about this one also. Before I used to be aware of a time and I can do whatever significant for that time, and it's constantly guiding me through those days. But now I feel like I lost that feeling of time is running. I can't really sense time at all. I feel like I lost something in my instruments. I used to have some kind of instruments before. Now I lost it. Yeah, still it's. I don't know what happened with the time now, but I can't really grasp past or future in the sense I used to feel before.
Yeah, I think I believe solution with you and me is that we converse together for separately and try to come out to some conclusion.
Yeah. Yes,
So maybe we will fix up.
definitely
I will
sorry.
fix up. No, no problem. We will fix up some time because this the clarifications which you are seeking will take some time to explain. It is not
Yes,
that
yes,
you lost the sense of time. Who lost the sense of time? So we have to
yeah.
go deep into this. Then the illusion of losing the sense of time will be gone. And even if it
Mm,
is there, it will not stop bothering you. So if it stops bothering you, it is as good as non existing. Like,
mm,
there may be so many things happening in so many places. Somebody is murdering somebody, somebody is doing all sort of
mm,
stupid things. Are they
yes,
bothering you right now, right here at this moment? They are not, because they're
mm,
not important to you as of now. What is more important to you
mm,
is whether I understand duality or non-duality, or whatever what I am going to eat for the next meal. So we will
mm,
converse separately, offline, one on one, and try to come to some conclusion. Right?
mm, yes, yes.
Yeah. So I think we have not touched upon the second question, which we will take up maybe in next meeting of Budev. In between, if anybody else or anybody wants to say something or ask something, we can take it. Otherwise, I think we can close it here for today's meeting in case nobody has to add or delete or modify anything of what has been discussed till now today. If anybody has any comment on whether we were on the right track or we were offline completely, so most welcome. Or else we can close it here. So we will meet next Friday, same time. So please be more convergent, because unless somebody converse, the ignorance will not come into light, or the knowledge will be spoken if somebody converse, and that will,
Yes,
maybe I will change my own views if I get to know something which is more authentic than what I know. So that way the ignorance is dispelled. So
mm,
thank you so much, all of you, to connect today with in this meeting, and see you next week, same time on Friday. And I wish you all the best. I wish that the the knowledge, the beauty of beingness, the presence shines forth without any doubts, without any questions. Because whenever the doubts arises, whenever the question arises, there is certain level, some sort of ignorance is there. So the questions are never answered by anybody. It is just that ignorance is seen by the person who is asking. If it sees the ignorance, it goes away. Otherwise, there will be argument, and there's no point in arguments. Either you understand and you take the other person's view, or the other person will change his views. But there's no point in arguing about anything in this world. So wise men just move out if case some arguments are happening. But unless you question, unless you express, unless you talk, unless you put your words in 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 a manner that is understood by others, and unless those words have the same meaning of what everybody understand on the same platform, matlab same meaning of the same word, then only the transmission happens. Thank you so much. And Madhuri is written that for removing my ignorance. Whose ignorance? Is there is beginning, there must be an end also. There is no beginning, then there is no end. That's why it is said there is no beginning. Yes. Thank you so much, all of you, for connecting today. Bye, and all the best.
thank you, Ashwin.